I'm just saying, even though it may not appear to be that big, but to some mom and pop restaurant, or as Jack says, some little, those are the people that I really care about. Unless there's some writers here from 24, because I have some recommendations. But anyway, Doctor, I do want to thank you for coming. Thank you again. And together we can do it. Steve MacDonald, please come forward. Welcome.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Steve MacDonald. I'm the president of FilmLA. FilmLA is the nonprofit private contractor with the City of Los Angeles, County, LAUSD, federal government, and a number of other jurisdictions. We handle the film permit coordination for anything taking place on location. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. Because of the work we do, FilmLA is in a unique position to observe the effect of the strike on filming as it unfolds. And we appreciate the opportunity to be here to tell you about that unique knowledge. FilmLA has been tracking the effect of the strike on location production on a week-by-week basis, comparing permits issued during the strike this year during the same period of time last year. The effect of a strike will be significant, most especially on TV dramas and situation comedies. And why that's important is because television for the last 4 or 5 years has become the prime driver in the entertainment economy in Los Angeles. We've lost a tremendous amount of production on feature films that have moved not so much to Canada now, but more so to other states that have enacted tax legislation to lure feature film production to their jurisdictions. So as that's happened, we've seen an expanding pie of television, thankfully, which has replaced some of those jobs, but not all of them. And one issue that was mentioned before is a big part of that expanding pie is reality TV, which doesn't have the same budgets, doesn't have the same economic impact. So the fact that this is impacting the scripted television, primarily the dramas and the situation comedies, is of concern. Just to give you a sense of what's at stake, in Los Angeles there are 52 one-hour dramas that are based here, a tremendous amount of production. Each one of those dramas, you mentioned 24. To use 24 as an example, they would have maybe 200 direct employees. These are direct employees, not the multiplier effect. So you're talking about a tremendous number of people. If you multiply 200 people times the 52 shows that are based in LA, you understand what we're talking about. For dollars spent on a show like 24 or any of the primetime one-hour dramas, they're anywhere between $2 million and $3 million per episode. And on broadcast networks, you do 22 episodes. So when you multiply this out, one show like 24 has a direct economic impact in the Los Angeles economy of approximately $60 million. Not counting the multiplier effect, just on direct spending on that production. So it is significant. Half-hour shows don't have that same impact. They might employ 80 to 100 people. But when you add it all together, we're talking about, on the shows that are based in LA, just for the television that's impacted by the strike, over 10,000 employees, and as much as $135 million a week. And that's for every week that production is not occurring when it would have been occurring before. We're entering a kind of a unique period where most of these shows will be going on hiatus soon. So I might agree with the economist that right now the impact is not being fully felt. The difference is, though, when a show normally goes on hiatus for holidays for 7 or 10 days, they're coming back on a date certain in January, coming back to a job. And what's a real concern to us, both for the economy and for our own company and for people's employment here, is that 46 of these shows now are not going to be coming back in January with any date certain. And so we're talking about 10,000 employees and over $135 million a week. We've actually been tracking the strike week by week, and by late November, in the 4th week of the strike, we saw signs that many workers were out of work. In week 4, we observed a 20% decrease in overall TV production. TV dramas fell 53% compared to the same period last year. Sitcoms dropped 80%. By week 5, sitcoms stopped obtaining permits. They basically stopped production. By week 6, dramas followed suit with 91% fewer permits issued this year than last year during the same period of time. Having just wrapped week 7 of the strike, we can report that of the 52 one-hour primetime dramas and 19 primetime comedies shot in LA, all but 2 shows are out of production. 1 will wrap this Friday. 8 of the shows actually were on a pre-planned hiatus, and like I mentioned, a number of the shows would normally be going on hiatus soon. But again, they're not coming back to anything in January, that's the concern. Again, 10,000 employees, about $135 million a week. And based on what's at stake in terms of dollars and jobs, we at FilmLA hope for a swift and mutually satisfactory resolution of differences between the negotiating parties. And in particular, our concern is because of what I mentioned before, because of the feature film activity that has left to a large degree from the Los Angeles area, television is that much more important to us in the economy here, and that's big. That's why we have our concerns.